Thank you for joining me. Meteorologist Hunter Ward here with your afternoon update, Friday afternoon, December 31st. We are looking at, for snow lovers, some good trends on the models for this weekend system that I've been doing several updates on. I want to thank Red Wolf Contracting Services, CP Cruise and Company on the Asheville WX website. Look around, Grimes Tice Anderson camera. I've been seeing a few scattered showers around the area, pushing out ahead of this front that will affect us all weekend. BannerElk.com live camera up in Banner Elk. You can see Banner Elk right there. And then, let's look around and we'll see the Camp Cedar Cliff camera. You can see just overcast skies around Asheville. TJ Hooper Nationwide Brevard camera as well. Haywood Community College camera out on US 74. Traffic moving smoothly. Cabbage Rose camera out in Maggie Valley. And then the Affairs of the Hearts camera in Waynesville. Wow, Waynesville is packed. So, looking around town, just overcast skies. But moving forward, we're going to see some rainfall into the really starting Saturday night. Let's go ahead and turn you around. We'll show you what the most recent models are showing. So, let's fast forward. Saturday, scattered showers during the day. Nothing too significant with this. I don't think it's going to be, too much of a day ruiner per se. But as you can see, watch the models. As the evening builds, we've got a line of storms that's going to be moving through. This was the line that the original GFS 3 days ago was showing that was going to bring that flash flooding threat to western North Carolina that I talked about. Since then, that has completely diminished. We don't have a flash flooding threat with this system. So looking forward, you don't have to worry about that. Just beneficial rainfall on the front with this. We've got two fronts that we're dealing with, but for sake of confusion, I'm considering them one front, but I'll evaluate that here in just a second and tell you exactly how they're going to interact with each other. And so you can see this from the first front moves through early Sunday morning. We'll have thunderstorms. You could even be woken up 6, 7 a.m. by thunderstorms, 5, 6 a.m. And then somewhat of a little bit of a clearing, but watch these storms. They kind of build back, and this is where it gets really complicated with the models. We've got a lot of energy that's working in the atmosphere, and you can see this dynamic band developing on this backside as the upper level low begins to capture that surface low. So the GFS is showing some Gulf interaction. We've got some moisture that's going to be pulled in from the Gulf as that upper level low captures that surface low and just rotates it right into western North Carolina. So you can see all this precipitation right here is projected by the GFS on this model to go through western North Carolina. Look at your soundings. This is Sunday night, probably around 11 o'clock. 10 or 11 o'clock. Look at your sounding. All right, so let's zoom in right here. I'm going to do a little meteorology. This is your freezing line. Look at how up in the atmosphere that is all the way to 700 millibars it's frozen at. Gets all the way to 43 degrees on this sounding. Let's tune to the next sounding 3 hours later. Boom. Warm nose is gone. Freezing level is dropped to 3,000 feet. Surface temperature is 35. Full melt will not occur there for snowflakes. So you'll have partial melt or no melt that happens. So that should be snow making it to the ground per this model, and that would be Monday morning around 2 a.m. 1 to 2 a.m. is my best guess on that. Maybe Sunday night, 11 midnight. So we'll nail down timing here probably tomorrow and into Sunday. I'll be producing videos both days. So we'll nail down timing as we progress, but the models don't have timing nailed down, so it's really difficult for me to nail anything down. We're just now getting in the range of short-range models, but this does seem to be a very, I've said this several times, but this is a dynamic system. When the atmosphere gets stacked like this, you can get a lot of power in the atmosphere occurring. A lot of force up, a lot of force down, and those have repercussions in the atmosphere. So this is kind of what the GFS shows. very strong band of snowfall occurring early Monday morning, late Sunday night, early Monday morning. And as far as accumulation, we've been warm. It's perfect timing if you're looking for a snowfall to come in and cool the ground down. And, if you get high enough rates, we'll see that overcome. What ends up happening is after the snow stops, the snow accumulates because it creates an isothermal layer, a frozen layer, right there on the surface for itself to accumulate onto. Then after it stops snowing, you begin to get melt from both sides. So the snow disappears very quickly. But in that moment of snow falling, it's possible for it to accumulate because it creates, as it melts, it freezes to itself and it creates an isothermal layer, a frozen layer for itself to sit on. And so the snow kind of insulates itself as it grows. And so that's how you get snowfall in conditions where the temperatures have been very warm and snow accumulation where the temperatures have been very warm and the ground temperatures are warm. So that's what these models are showing. And I'll show you the accumulation totals here in just a second because that was somewhat of a preface to showing you those accumulation totals because this model spits out a really stout storm for western North Carolina. Here, we'll pull up those accumulation totals. Here, widespread 5 to 6, even showing a 7-inch total there at the airport. Take this with a grain of salt, but we've seen a trend here today of these models moving into much higher territories of potential, and so you have to take this with seriousness. We're 2 to 3 days out. This is when these models are supposed to be at their best, at their most accurate. And so, when we see so much energy moving around in the atmosphere and they're kind of just throwing things up against the wall, but then the snowfall totals, we get a big total, and then more runs follow, and they're consistently at those totals. So this was the first time that we had seen these big totals. So I'm going to look at the next 2 runs, and we'll do an update tomorrow to let you know if these totals are actually going to be realized, or if this was just one model run and, we need to be very serious. That's why I'm waiting to put out an accumulation map on this because let's run you through what the GFS shows, or the European model shows, because it has trended towards for snow lovers, a positive solution. But, it still has to be taken with I hate to say this, with a grain of salt, but it shows the snow as well. It does look like, snow is pretty much imminent for, western North Carolina. If you want to see that, you're going to have to stay up late Sunday night and early Monday morning. So, but that's when it's going to happen, by sunrise or, 9 a.m. Monday. This appears to be moving out. So it looks like a Sunday night event. Could come a little bit earlier than what I've been saying, 11 to midnight, maybe as early as 8 to 9. So we'll see. It's going to be raining all Sunday evening. So if you look, you can see it. It's just a matter of when that rain switches over to snow, when the atmosphere, the cold air gets in place enough that upper level low captures that low pressure. This doesn't really show it as much. You can see the low pressure isn't as formed over the mountains of western North Carolina. It does not have as much interaction with the upper level low and surface low. You can see it doesn't get captured as quickly. The GFS shows that surface low getting captured in the Gulf. That allows moisture to come up from the south and then meet those cold temperatures right in western North Carolina. So we're going to have to watch for that as we progress through the next few days, and you guys are going to have to be prepared for pretty much any type of storm with this because there's a lot of variabilities. We've got to get the short-range model data, and this is one of those systems that could surprise a lot of people. So be mindful. I'm trying to get out ahead of this, let you guys know that there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of atmospheric dynamics that are causing some heartburn with this forecast. And just know that as meteorologists, we're doing our best to digest all information. But you have to understand that what our tools that we have are changing consistently. And, so the forecast is variable, and we have to speak in uncertainties with this. So as far as accumulation totals, let's show you what the European model ran off, which showed snow for all of North Carolina, or most of North Carolina at least. So around an inch or so for the Asheville area, more for the border counties, where it shows that switch over earlier. But, still an accumulating snowfall for the mountains of western North Carolina. And, you could wake up. The European model is suggesting that you're going to wake up Monday morning with just a dusting of snow in and around the area, dusting to 1 inch. We will see if that changes, because if you look, the 0Z model only had 0.4 inches, so it does appear that it's becoming a more moist model. It's getting a little bit colder, but how this actually plays out, we're starting to get, this should have been the run where we had it figured out with the European and the GFS, and they should have looked pretty similar. They don't now. So got to default to our short range models, and that'll kind of be what my next update is about. We'll be focusing on those short range models, kind of looking at the NAM 3KM, the RGEM, maybe even look at the HRRR long range. Those models really begin to get in their wheelhouse. The NAM 3KM should start really getting an idea here in the next 36 hours of what the situation will be when it unfolds. And then it's going to be going and looking at the radar. Next step, Sunday morning, checking your radar. Sunday afternoon, we want to see snow lovers want to see a blob of precipitation starting to develop over Missouri, over Arkansas, moving into western Tennessee. Those are good signs that snow band is developing, that upper level low is starting to capture that surface low and pull that moisture up from the south. And so those type things, those are what you want to be looking for come Sunday. I'll remind you again tomorrow, and then we'll just go from there, and we'll get you the best forecast possible. I'm going to do a forecast map for you sometime tomorrow, and try to prepare you best I can based off of the data that I'm provided. So make sure you subscribe to my page and give the video a like. Really appreciate you guys tuning in, and check back tomorrow for another update.